Sometimes a man does not necessarily deny a thing. He's just being selective about the reality he accepts. Hear this one. The governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has denied promising to pay a minimum wage of 80,000 naira to workers in the state and local government areas. The denial came following online stories circulating in the area. The chief press secretary to the governor, Nelson Chukudi, dismissed the said reports as totally untrue, and in the light of the agreement between the federal government and organized labor, one can only conclude that Governor Fubara admits that workers in his state deserve a pay rise. Meanwhile, organized private sector has let it be known that it will be difficult for employers to pay agreed 70,000 naira as the new national minimum wage in the country. Yusuf, how do you weigh in here?
Well, first and foremost, I'm happy that only a page on the seemingly endless, discussions and debates about minimum wage, and the way it was done, even some of us were surprised.
I was surprised. I saw
the labor, leaders, giving thumbs up to the president.
Yeah.
I thought
giving both also.
I said thumbs up. It's the same thing.
Both are bigger than thumbs.
Well, in our local parlance it is, but the truth is, if you are not very, very happy with the outcome, you wouldn't do what those labor leaders did. All of us thought that they would still stick to their guns, 250K minimum or nothing. But eventually, they saw the light. They were able to say that, oh, this is what makes sense. This is what is sustainable.
Sustainable.
Yes, because this president that I know, I believe we want to pay any amount. But we need to warn him that you cannot just make people happy when you cannot sustain it. So, and that is why the prolonged discussions. Now, at the end of the day, I'm so much delighted about the outcome, and not just the outcome, the way it happened. It's very rare. No, he didn't force his own will on them, and that makes me happy, because if he did, they won't do what they are doing. And the video that are there for you to confirm what happened.
Yeah.
Now, people should know that what the president has done is not binding on any of the states. The state will now look at as something to now negotiate with their own workers. The private sector, the same thing. What the president has done is binding only for federal workers.
Yeah.
And in Nigeria, you can compute the percentage of federal workers. So now coming down to Rivers State, where Governor Fubara has come out to deny that he will be paying 80,000. I don't know whether 80,000 is sustainable in Rivers or not. He is in charge, and I believe he should know better than anybody.
Yeah. He is the chief accounting officer.
Yes,
so he should know.
So he knows what comes in and what goes out, and he knows the number of people in his employ and all of those things.
Yeah.
So I have not seen any negotiation on the part of the state government with the laborers, with the workers. That must take place in each of the states now, so that they can achieve what the president has achieved.
Okay.
I don't want any governor to be a dictator, use the same scenario or process used by President Tinubu. So the president, anytime they want to disrupt, then they will call them to a meeting. Even when they say they are going to strike, they will halt the strike. But at the end of the day, show them what is available. This is what we make. This is what we spend. This is this. This is this. This is this. We are all human beings. And I don't think anybody will want the federal government or any state government to grant to your.
Thank you, Yusuf. Biko, this is a little akin to what we discussed yesterday here regarding Governor Zulum of Borno. the governor is constrained to dismiss an online report. So the governor said he never made such a promise. So how did this story get a start?
No, this is a season of falsehood being dressed up as
truth,
credible news story. And everyone has become a journalist these days. Once people have access to phone
and data,
with data, they imagine themselves to be qualified to do a job about which they have no training. So there's a lot of falsehood out there. When I read the claims that the UAE had said that Nigerians who want their visas should pay a hefty sum of money and all that, I knew it was not true. I was just waiting. And they've come out to say, look, they lied against us. And they know, and we now have a reputation as a people, because they know that the lie emanated from Nigeria and from Nigerians. So that's another way that we have negatively advertised ourselves. You know? But the thing is, the people came up with this story, perhaps they were trying to make it look like, oh, Rivers has got so much money. If other states can't pay, Rivers can pay. The other governors who do not want to pay, they don't know what they are doing and all that. It's all rubbish. At the end of the day, the president, the Labour was looking forward to the president jacking up the minimum wage from the sum of 62,000 per month that the committee came up with. They recall that President Buhari also added to it at that time, that it wasn't originally 30,000 that was agreed, but that when it got to President Buhari's table, President Buhari decided to add to it, to make it 30,000 as minimum wage at that time. So President Tinubu was simply doing what President Buhari did at that time. And it's credit to him that this whole saga was concluded in good time. Because it took the previous administration about 3 years to decide on a minimum wage. Now, the president has the duty. In the tripartite agreement, organized private sector stands on one side. Labour stands on one side. The federal government represents itself and the subnationals. So it's like the president speaking for the federal government and the states. That is the structure. Now, what the president has agreed on will be passed on to the National Assembly as the representative of the federal government and the subnationals. His duty is to pass that bill to the National Assembly.
I'm hearing Tuesday.
And the National Assembly will then do the needful to make it, to complete the process so that it becomes law. The president will give his final assent, and then, based on the law, 70,000 naira will be the minimum wage in our country. The law permits the Minister of Labour and Productivity to enforce the minimum wage in our country. But you and I know that that law is just there. Nobody enforces it. And that's why some of us have suggested that, look, this whole thing will become a joke if we do not find a way to tweak the law. Because what is the point in agreeing to a minimum wage and many states, when it was even 30,000, many of the states
found it difficult to pay.
Zamfara just started paying about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And based on what we heard from labor leaders, even Abia had not begun to pay, except maybe they paid in the last few days. In fact, they visited the governor and pleaded that he should begin to pay minimum wage of 30,000. After this, there will be meetings upon meetings. It doesn't end here. The big elephant in the room, as I said yesterday, is the consequential adjustment to everybody's wages. Levels 1 to 6. They are deemed to be the people who usually frontally benefit from a minimum wage. You know, they are, the way they benefit is wholesome. But there will be consequential adjustment by percentages to every category of worker. Even the level 17 officer will get something added to his, his own salary. Those categories of workers usually get the least percentage in terms of addition to their salary. The whole idea is that those on level 1 to 6 do not catch up with their bosses. If for example, now the minimum wage was 30,000 and my salary was 60,000, the people who are earning just about 30,000 before, or 35, or 40, or even 50, or 60, once the minimum wage goes to 70, they are going to overtake me. So that is the whole idea of consequential adjustment. And when we talk about minimum wage, it's not simply, it's not simply about 70,000. Everybody gets a pay rise. And the fact that everybody gets a pay rise is what scares the government, is what scares the organized private sector, because it then means that your wage bill will balloon. These are explanations that they don't readily give to people. And people need to have this background. People need to know that this is what must give in the event of the implementation of a new minimum wage, because your wage bill would then balloon several times. So if a state is not healthy financially, it becomes difficult to implement the minimum wage. And that's why labor and governments, both the subnationals and the federal, they still have meetings to do on the consequential adjustment. What percentage comes to you, citizen? What percentage goes to Yusuf? That's the way it will go. And labor will argue that, no, 5% that you are adding to level 15 to 17 is too small. Those ones too will argue, they will ask for more. That's the way. The process has really just begun. People think that, okay, this chapter is closed. It's not. It has not closed. You have to hammer out a deal on the matter of consequential adjustment with workers after this phase.
Okay. We must make some money now. We'll go on a commercial break. Please come with us and stay. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.